Good evening and welcome to Profile Pod TV. I'm your host, Andy Anatomical, and we are back once again for another splendid episode of Profile Pod TV. I want to thank everybody for being here wherever you're tuning in from. This is not a live broadcast, but thank you for being here nonetheless, because we are going to have a really, really cool show for you, as we always do. Before we get going, always have our little segment for shout outs. Just one shout out today for Karev from Heritage Hip Hop, heritagehiphop.com. He's going to be on the show actually next month in June. So he's been very supportive of the podcast and of Profile Pod TV recently. Thank you for showing us love, Karev. So looking forward to having you next month. So we are excited about that. So, and again, everybody who's on Instagram, you guys are always showing love, some Twitter, but mainly Instagram. Yeah, appreciate you guys listening in and tuning in, supporting the podcast, Profile Pod TV, 90s Galore, what have you. So really like that. Always appreciate that. And as always, if you are looking to get yourself on Profile Pod TV, come on here so we can profile you, we can promote you, whatever you got going. Maybe you're a podcaster, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you have an actor, musician, artist, you have a very unique background. We want to have you on here. We want to bring you on so we can promote you and help you out and help each other out. That's what it's all about. So I truly seek those individuals out who have very cool backgrounds and who do cool stuff, and who are driven, who are motivated, and can inspire us all. And so, hit me up on Profile Pod or DM me on Instagram at Profile Pod TV, or shoot me an email, as you can see there on the ticker below. So let me know. Always looking for new people to come on. So keep that in mind, everybody. So and also we're gonna have some really cool guests coming up next week and the week after. So we got some good stuff in store for everybody. And so stay tuned. But for today we have a super, super special guest, ladies and gentlemen, here in the Profile Pod. This gentleman is originally from the Bay Area. He started his own co-founded his record label, Independently Popular, as well as the management side to that company, Indie Pop. And so we're really excited about having this gentleman here. It's actually his birthday. Can you believe that? I mean, and we'll get into that right now because I want to say something to him regarding that. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Carlo Fox to the Profile Pod. How you doing, Carlo?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man. No, thank you, man. And like I said, happy birthday, Carlo. And that's a true testament to your character, man, because, I mean, quarantine or not, you're here. You decided to take time away. I know you have a family. You're a busy man and you have stuff going on, but you stayed committed. And that just tells me how that just, goes to show the dedication, the type of person you are, man. So thanks a lot for being here, brother.
Yeah. No, of course. Thanks for having me, brother. Yeah, it's my birthday, but I'm not allowed out the house, so I figured we could have a virtual party.
There we go, man. There you go. No, yeah. Hey, you know what, man? If you want to have a special beverage or something, man, please be my guest. Cheers to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I don't know. I hope you like and I forgot to mention I got my quarantine haircut. I got my quarantine.
I like it.
Yeah, my niece dyed my hair, so I'm good, man. I feel pretty good. Just can't go anywhere. But oh man, like Carlo, man. Yeah, seriously, man. It's good to have you here. Like I was saying, you have Independently Popular, your record label, and your indie pop as well. And we'll get into all of your things that you got going on. So how have you been, man? How's everything going, man? Just kind of want to check in with you first, man. What's going on?
Yeah, everything's been going good. I've been at home for a couple months. So I've been working from home. It's had its pros and cons, but it's been nice to be with the family. I think it's been nice to be with Nico and Gabby, and kind of get that uninterrupted time, especially like with my son at the age that he's at. That's really nice. On the work side, I'm able to work remotely, but it's a little bit, we have to kind of, with everybody on the team, we have to make sure that we kind of focus on over communicating, because when you're not there in front of people, sometimes, it's hard to stay in sync. And then, all this stuff has been kind of hard on some parts of our business. So that's been a little bit hectic. As I think most people are dealing with right now is, kind of the money's not there like it was before. So kind of trying to figure out how to get through that challenge. But all in all, I feel like we're blessed, we're healthy. I'm getting to be here with the family, so I can't complain.
Again, man, there you go, Mr. Optimism. I love it, man. It's it's all about the attitude, man. Yeah, we're in a kind of not so fun situation, but it's what you make of it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
What you make of it is how your attitude and how you're gonna. It's day by day, man. We're still alive. We're still here. We still got opportunities.
Yeah, it's true, man.
But I appreciate that, Carlo, man. You're always you're oozing with optimism and positivity, and that's the best. That's great, man. That's great. And by the way, shout out to Gabby, Carlo's wife, Gabby. Shout out to Gabby. She's if she was anything less than a great wife, you probably wouldn't be talking to us right now, man. Because she'd be kind of, no, it's your birthday. I want to do this, and what's that?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm lucky. She's awesome.
She is, man. And we're trying to get her on here to promote her brand, her company, and that she just launched the Sweeter Than Pan Dulce brand. So
she's crushing it with that, man. She's about to take my spot. I think I'm gonna have to be a house hubby pretty soon.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So hopefully we'll get her on here. I was teasing her, so not to be shy and let's just get you on here and get you some promotion and stuff. So, but soon enough we'll get her.
I told her not to be shy. She's gonna be on soon.
There we go, man. Yeah. So, hey, Carlo, man. Let's get a little bit of background, man, before we get into everything. The meat and potatoes of everything. You're originally from Bay Area.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Berkeley, and then I lived in San Francisco for about 10 years after that.
Okay. Yeah. What high school did you go to?
I actually moved away during high school, and I went to high school in Arizona. So I lived for 3-4 years in Arizona. So I went to elementary and junior high in Berkeley.
Okay.
And then back in the summers to see my dad, and then I moved back when I was 17 to the Bay Area, and I lived in Berkeley for about another year, and then I went to SF State for a little while, and then just ended up kind of living and working in SF.
Gotcha. Okay. So I get it. It's kind of a back and well, yeah. I take it mom's was in Arizona.
Yeah, my mom moved to Arizona, so I moved out there with her for a little bit, and my dad stayed in the Bay, so I'd come back and visit in the summers and do all that.
Gotcha. Okay. And so go Bears, right? Big Golden Bear fan.
Yeah. I'm a Cal fan. I definitely grew up on the A's, the Warriors, Cal.
Oh, the A's. Okay, good. It wasn't you're not the Giants.
No, I was an A's fan, but I was a Niners fan. I was never a Raiders fan.
Okay.
The Raiders had moved to LA when I was a kid, so we used to call them the LA haters. We didn't like them. But and then they moved back. So when I was a kid, you'd be like a A's fan and a Niners fan. If you're from the East Bay.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's great, man. Because and then the A's and Dodgers had some battles in '88. Mm-hmm. With the World Series, right? And I don't know. Yeah, man.
Yeah, there was that was the Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Ricky Henderson.
Oh man,
that was a good good time for the A's.
The Bash Brothers, yeah, they had squads, man.
Mm-hmm.
You
The
know?
Warriors, when I was a kid, were never very good, but then that didn't happen until I was growing up.
Yeah, but I remember those Run TMC days. I remember Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullin,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Webb. Chris Mullin. Who was the C?
I don't
know. Chris Webber?
Was Chris Webber? Was that? Oh, yeah, Chris Webber.
Yeah, right. Run TMC. Yeah. Anyways, I think that was early '90s, mid '90s. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, you came back. So when did you move to LA? What year was that?
Let's see. I moved to LA in I think it was 2009.
Okay.
I think it was 2009. Yeah.
And had you? Okay. And now, had you started your label prior to that, or was it all, everything started here when you moved here?
Yeah. So I'd been doing kind of other ththings in music, and there was a group of producers, and they were a young hip hop group called the Cataracts. And they actually went to Berkeley High with my little brother Anthony, and there was a few other guys who one of them was from the Bay Area, one of them was from the East Coast, but they were living in New York, and they discovered the Can. And so I kind of started. They discovered this group, the same group as well, the Cataracts online. So I was kind of working with the Cataracts, helping them with their music. And then I heard about these guys. They said, "Hey, there's these guys like from New York. They're coming out here and they want to work with me." And I'm like, "Well, who's that?" All right, so we'll meet, right? And at first we thought it might be like there might be a territorial thing going on, like we're kind of both guys a similar age who are working with this group together. But then we met each other and we all really liked each other, and like kind of the rest was history. So those two guys ended up being my two partners. So they about 6 months before had started Indie Pop, and the Cataracts were the first group that they had signed. And I was in the Bay Area. We all started kind of working together, and we were like, this works. The work is, we kind of have a nice flow. We have kind of different skill sets. And they were like, look, we're trying to move from New York to LA. You should move down and you should bring the group with you, and we should just try and see if we can make it work in LA, because that's really where things were happening in music. And so that's kind of how I kind of became part of the Indie Pop thing right when it was starting, and how we all kind of ended up in LA working together.
Gotcha. So Indie Pop was the original company, right? The original venture.
Yeah. So Indie Pop was the first thing. It was, the name was created by my partner Ben Willis, and he kind of wanted to create a shout out. And then our other partner Josh Andriano, and I think that what he wanted to do was create a company where you could create kind of left of center, different music, unique artists, not like kind of not trying to fit a mold, being themselves, but at the same time you could like try and create massive records and huge pop success, so not underground music, but artists with a real unique take, and an authentic point of view and a unique perspective. And so that's kind of where Indie Pop came from, and that was the first project we did, and then kind of we just been going from there.
Awesome. And with your label, with the label, as you have two partners, Carlo, I think you said.
Yeah.
Two partners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then how did so that was Indie Pop. So how did Independently Popular come about from Indie Pop?
Yeah, so from the beginning we were like we were a management company, but we would also sometimes sign artists to record deals, right? So we would sign we would sign publishing rights, or we'd sign master rights. And a lot of times when you're working with an artist that's in a really early stage, it's developmental,
Yeah.
you do these type of deals so that you can put money into their project and develop their project over time. Usually, like as managers, we don't pay for things, you know. We kind of are there to consult and help lead the project, but we're not paying for stuff. And so a
Mhm.
lot of times you have these artists that are in a kind of developmental phase, and it's kind of early on in their career, but you really believe in them and see something special in them. So, but they need money, you know what I mean, to shoot music videos, to like maybe stop working as much so they can focus on music, to travel, to do promo, to whatever it is. And
Yeah.
so in the early days, a lot of times we were working with kind of developmental acts, and we would you know, we'd do these deals where we would kind of sign them to kind of quote unquote record deals and put money into them to develop their project. Um, but we were really kind of operating mostly as a music manager. And then, you know, over time, what happens is, you know, some of the artists you're working with, you find great partners, you find labels or distributors or people that are going to kind of invest in the project and market and promote the project. But a lot of times you don't find the right partner, right? And you're like, you know, this artist is dope. I really kind of believe in their vision. I believe in what they're doing musically, but I'm not finding the partner that's like kind of committed like I am, and it's like really going to go for it, right? Um, and so for that reason, we just kind of we're like, you know, let's just build out the infrastructure ourselves. So if
Oh,
we think something's dope and we want to like invest in it and kind of take it to market, we can just do it, and we're not waiting on other people. We're not like kind of asking for a handout, or we're not kind of going to meetings and trying to convince people. It's like if we believe in it, then we're just gonna do it, right? And so that's originally how it started. Is mostly kind of as a mechanism to put out our own artist shit. You know what I mean?
hmm
So
hmm
if we think something's dope and we're managing them, kind of out of necessity, we wanted to build like a system that we could put their music out. Um, so that's originally how it started, and then from there we were like, all right, we're kind of getting better at this, and we're kind of figuring out what works and what doesn't, and we're starting to feel kind of confident in how we operate. So we're like, all right, we don't have to only do this for our management clients. We could kind of open it up to other artists that we think are dope, right? And
Uh-huh.
then we started opening it up and just having conversations and signing different things. And you know, it's still in the relatively early stages. I think we're going to grow it to be a lot bigger than where it is now. But I think that over the last year, we've developed it a lot and signed a lot of stuff that we're really proud of, and that we're excited to have released, or to that we're going to release over the next year.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And
Yeah,
yeah, and so you have just to clarify for the viewers, it's you have indie pop and then you have independently popular, right?
right.
And I think you mentioned that you were gonna rebrand everything, right? I don't know. I hope I
Yeah.
didn't give
No,
any
no, you're good.
exclusives.
You're good. No, you're good.
So it's all going to be under independent, under one name. Is that?
Yes, yeah. So essentially, what we're doing is indie pop is going to stay indie pop, and then independently popular is going to kind of turn into this new thing. And essentially, what we're doing is, you know, we are we're kind of shifting our business model a little bit. You know, there's kind of two different sort of unique um, ways that you could release music, right? You could go through a distributor, or you could go through a label, right? And typically with the distributor, you retain ownership of your rights. It's like they monetize it for you for a short amount of time. Sometimes they'll give you money, sometimes they don't.
Mhm.
And with a record label, you usually get more money. A lot of times they'll own your rights, or they'll like license your rights for a really long period of time, um, and they'll kind of uh, you know, dig deeper and give a bigger push on exploiting your music. So often when you're like the artist or the manager, it's a big give or take, right? You're like, do I give up ownership of my rights
Yeah.
and give up a lot more of the money? You know what I mean? And when you do a standard record deal, you're usually given, the record company is usually taking 80% of the money, you know? So you're
Wow.
taking 20%, right? When you do a distribution deal, you as the artist are usually taking like, you know, 70 to 90% of the money, right?
Okay.
So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, now the record labels will give you a bunch of money up front, and sometimes it's like a, you know, a lot of money that you could like, you know, you could buy a house, or you could do something, or you could like set your life up. But the problem is it's a one-time thing, and then what happens is you usually don't get any more money for a really long time. So they it seems nice when it happens, but then you're not getting that monthly payment to sustain your lifestyle, you know? And that's why you see artists kind of, a lot of times they get that big check and like they buy a car and a chain and like they buy all the things and like, and then they end up in a situation that's kind of hard to sustain, right? So long story short is what we've seen is a lot of artists these days, they want the help that you would get from a record label, the promotional support, the marketing support, all that type of stuff, but they don't want to like give up ownership of their rights. And they understand that that's like an asset that they've built. And if they retain ownership of it, they could like go into their future getting a check every month, right, from their streaming. So what we've done is we created a business that's based on deals that are similar to a distributor, but services that are closer to like a record label, right? And the thing is like people are asked, all right, well, how can you do that, right? Like, how can you afford to do that? And I think the way that we can afford to do it is we only work with like a certain level of artist that you know, that really has positive trajectory, that's like already earning a certain amount of money, and not super huge, but big enough that we can really give them a elevated level of service. And it's just not available to everybody. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these distributors, you know, most anyone could sign up for them. How our service works is, you know, it's invite only, it's super selective. And so we could really dig in on their project and crush it. But we can only do it for select projects, you know? So really what we're doing is we're trying to kind of flip the label model, the label distributor model on its head, and really do it by doing like a kind of invite only, super curated, super high level of customer service, you know?
Gotcha. So very interesting, man. And so it sounds like you have, you're bringing in artists. Let's say you bring, for example, you bring in an artist they're semi-established or already established to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, I mean, like they're not like household names, but sorry, I'm just moving out of the sun so you see me.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, not like household names, but like but they have some fans and they're doing a certain amount of streams and they're making some money online, so that we know when they come in the door that there's a certain amount of money there that allows us to like, you know, cover our bases. Now, obviously, like we want to make them way bigger. So I'm gonna scoot over a little bit. We want to make them way bigger and grow their career. And by the time they're done working with us, you know, be way bigger than they were when they started. But at the same time, there's this certain sweet spot we found where they're already kind of started, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, so at some point, is it safe to say that, let's say one of your artists, I mean, you know, really goes above and beyond, blows up. At that point, would you guys kind of, you know, I don't know what the proper terminology is, release that artist, and then the artist would probably go on to a larger label type? Is that how typically it works, or would work like that?
Yeah.
Or would you keep that artist on label and grow that artist?
There's a few different ways that you can do it, right? So, so for one, like most of our deals that we used to do before were a little bit more long term. Usually our deals are relatively short term now. So what happens is we'll usually do a deal for one album. We'll put out that album, we'll do it. Hopefully the artist will blow up. If they want to keep on putting out albums with us, we can. If they want to go like sign to a major label and do that, they can do that too. And you know, we continue to exploit the first album that they gave us. And so as they kind of blow up, that original album keeps streaming. So it's not like we need to like kind of keep them locked in and keep on doing deals with them, you know. We kind of in the world of streaming, even if like they go off and do another deal, we're still going to kind of reap the benefits of that because, you know, all the tides are going to rise and their original albums are going to stream. But to answer your question, if an artist is signed to us and they want to, you know, to partner with a big major label, because let's say they're making records that are really good for the radio, right? And they want to get like a global radio team on their project. If they want to do that, we have partnerships with a lot of the major labels. And what we can do is we can do like a joint venture with them. So once point that it's going, we could bring it to the label and we could be like, hey, we got this act assigned to us, we got this record that's starting to go. And if it's something that the artist wants to do, a lot of times the artist doesn't want to do that. They're like, I got a record that's popping, I'm going to keep all the money, I'm going to keep doing this deal with these guys, and I'm going to keep the lion's share of the income. But there's lots of reasons they might want to do a deal, right? If they have a single that's super popping, right, they might be able to go get a check for a lot of money, like a life-changing amount of money. They might want to do that, right? They also, like I said, they might want to access a global promotions team that's bigger than what we have access to, right?
I see.
So ultimately, we let the artist decide. We're not going to tell you do this or do that. If you want to go partner with a label, then we'll help facilitate that, and we just do a deal with the label, so we're still cut in as a partner.
Gotcha.
But then we have access to this bigger team, Really what we're trying to grow towards is a place where we could kind of hire that all out independently, and we don't need and we can service a project globally without bringing on a partner, even when it goes to radio and stuff. But the truth is at this point in the game, when it comes to radio specifically, the major labels are the best. So there's definitely a reason when a record needs that kind of radio support to bring in these guys as partners. With everything else, though, if it's just about streaming and it's all like online and whatever, you don't really need a major label partner. You could do the marketing yourself. You could pitch it to the DSPs and to the Apples and the Spotifys and streaming platforms yourself. You could make all the great content. So you don't really need a partner if you have money and you got like a solid independent team. But there's some things that that the big global companies still do better than everybody else, particularly radio.
Right. So the record company, man, I mean, the record business, to me, it's very fascinating. There's so much you could do. I mean, you could do deals, you can structure deals differently. It sounds like there's a lot of flexibility in being creative with the business side. Like you said, you can, you percentages, you structure deals a certain way with the artists, so it sounds like there's a lot of different ways to do things. So if for an artist, man, they have to really be business savvy, and know the business, right? I mean, it behooves them to know, right? Yeah. To be knowledgeable and to know the business, or have a basic knowledge at least, right? Because they can get taken advantage of, and I don't want to say frame it like that.
But it happens though. Trust me.
Yeah.
No, it happens a lot. I mean, yeah, you'd be surprised how many artists don't care to learn about the business that they're in. Wow. And they get managers or they get whatever. And a lot of times their managers are like their friends that don't know that much as well. And then, or maybe the managers are like, don't have their best intentions and, whatever. There's a lot of great people. I'm not even saying like that most people are like that, but right. There are a lot of artists that don't take the time to learn the business for whatever reason. And yeah, I encourage all artists to learn about this stuff because this is like your livelihood,
Yeah.
This is how you exist. And even if you're not being taken advantage of, let's say everybody around you is honest, you still don't understand enough about the business just to make the right decisions.
Exactly.
You don't understand it. So everybody might be honest as can be. Nobody's trying to get over on you, but you just might not know that there's like opportunity right in front of you because you don't understand it. So yeah, I mean, I think a big part of what we're trying to do with our new company is really focus on education and focus on, providing resources for what we call like artist entrepreneurs, which are like, I think in this new ecosystem, all these artists are entrepreneurs until they decide not to be, right? If you decide to sell all your rights to some company and then, then you're an employee, but until then you're an entrepreneur. You start out being an entrepreneur, you're making something and you're selling it and you own it. And so we're trying, and I'm not even saying there's anything bad about, selling your masters, doing, because sometimes it's a great situation and, you could get rich and you could like really have a great team, but you should know exactly what you should know what you're giving up when you get that check. And a lot of times people don't take the time to understand that. So, yeah, that's a big kind of passion of mine right now, is focusing on providing education and resources to you know, to
The
creative
artist.
people that are trying to go the path of like, you know what, I'm going to try and do this myself. And and you know, there's a chance you might not become as big of an artist, but maybe you will. And maybe you'll be like 80% as big, but you'll be, you know, keeping 4 times as much of the money, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So there's lots of, you know, it's not cut and dry. It's not like who's the guy that's going to make me the biggest.
Hmm.
Like, it's like, what's going to be the best for my life? You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah,
some people don't even want to be famous. They want to like put their music out. They want to get a good amount of streams and have enough money to like pay their rent and live good and go on a couple vacations. You know what I mean? Like, not
correct.
everybody. That's the other thing, that misconception, is that every artist wants to be like, you know what I mean, like a star.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to be a star now. And that's the other thing that we're really focusing on with our company is, you know, what we're calling like the artist middle class. You know what I mean? It's like you could be an artist, and you know, you make as much money as like a doctor or a lawyer.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh yeah,
it's like a good, and it's
for sure.
steady. You get a check every month from the streaming platforms, and you know, a lot of times there's this thing that people would like, when you're an artist, if you weren't like on the path of becoming a superstar, you would look at yourself like you were a failure, right? Like, oh, he's not
Right.
like
Yeah.
he's like, oh, he could have been this, he's not this. But the truth is that only like 0.001% become superstars. And there's no
Right.
shame in making great music and earning a living off it.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, that's awesome. Um, and for us, you know, so for us, support people that are there, and if they turn into superstars, like, you know, God
Yeah.
bless them. That's
Right.
great. But that doesn't have to be the end goal. Like, everybody should make their own goals and do what makes them happy in their life. I also
Exactly.
see a lot of people that are stars that aren't happy. You know what I mean?
See
They
the
got
flip
people
side.
all like, you know, all over them. They got like, they've created a lifestyle that they don't enjoy, you know?
Jeez.
So, where I know
Right.
some kids that like are in there, you know, they're at their mom's house making music, making really good money, you know what I mean? Making really good money every month, and they're happy as can be.
Jeez.
They're like, fuck, they're like, I fucking beat the system, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Living with my.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
living in mom's basement, like making, you know, in their early 20s, making a shitload of money. I mean, like,
Yeah. I mean, hey, to each his own, right?
yeah,
No, I
exactly.
hear you. I hear you, Carlo. Yeah, man. I've always found the record business, man. The movie business. Both of them very fascinating, man. It's so very cool, man. There's stories upon stories and knowledge and intricacies and so much that goes into those industries, man. But how has the internet kind of affected, social media, streaming,
Yeah.
iTunes, has it affected the record business, Carlo, in the last maybe 5 to 10 years, man? Or, have you guys been, or, in general?
Yeah. You know, it's crazy because, you know, we've been around for like, you know, 10, 12 years. And then I was working in music before, but we've been really doing this for
Mm-hmm.
10, 12 years. And yeah, you know, it's a trip because when I got into it, people were downloading, there was iTunes,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, it was like, you know, it was 2008, 2010. The record industry was still recovering from like, you know, the early 2000s Napster era.
Yeah.
You know, the idea still was like this: you put out music to get fans, and then you go on the road and tour, and that's how you get money. Like, record
Mhm.
labels, it was like, record label. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not running a record label. That was like the shitty job. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't really trying to like be a record label. Those are the guys that you kind of felt bad for, because they do a lot of work and they'd hardly make any money, right? There was like, it was really hard. It was really hard. Now, don't get me wrong, there were people that were succeeding, but it wasn't like you weren't like passionate about being. You weren't like, ooh, that's what I'm going to do, is be a record label. It was cooler to be a manager, and then you'd be involved in developing the artist. You might do some deal with the record label, but you were really trying to get money so you could go out on the road and tour, and that's really where you got your money. You know what I mean?
Right. Touring,
yeah, the touring. You know, the record label would help you get your song on the radio, so that you could build fans, so that you can tour, and you go tour and you make a lot of money. And so that was kind of the vibe. So that was 2010, and really how it was.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, everything has gone like completely full circle since then.
Really?
Yeah. So streaming has just grown into like a really real thing, and it's really exciting. I mean, to me, it's even more exciting than physical records, because physical records involved like you had to have this like traditional distribution chain worldwide. There was a lot of politics involved, like how are you going to get onto the, how are you going to get onto the shelf at the front of like Virgin Records, you know what I mean? Like that was all politics. It was the same as like getting your product in Walmart. Now the playing field has been leveled, right? It's all digital. There's infinite access to the marketplace. And anybody could be a player. And then what's even better about it is that, streams happen forever. So it's not only like when someone buys the record and that you get all that money up front, it's an asset that continues to go on forever as long as people are listening to your music, right? So you create a strong catalog of music, and you created like a valuable asset that you could either sell, or you could just leave it there and it's just going to pay you every year forever, Wow. Now who knows, maybe in 15 years nobody's going to care about your music and they won't listen to it, but maybe they will, and
you never know.
And the truth is that it's really exciting that artists can like on their own create these assets that they could live on forever, and in theory they could like pass on to their children, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like buying stocks, but you're making it yourself. I mean, it's a real asset. So the business has what's happened with streaming and digital has changed a lot, and I'm like really excited about it. It's given us the opportunity to create a business and like be competitive against like big companies in a way that we would never been able to be before. It's given us an opportunity to like help artists that there would have probably been this barrier of entry. Like I said, if we could get them going, they could get enough money to like pay for their lifestyle, and that's what they want. That could be a win. Whereas, if you're not making like a couple $1 million a year and you're in the major label system, then the system can't sustain you, and you end up getting dropped, and they end up saying, "Oh, you're a failure. All right, you got to go back to your day job," And so now there's a way for people that are all in this middle area that like it's not like not everybody could be in it, because not everybody's music is going to be good enough to connect, right? But there's this whole new space of people that are like, they're from like here to here, right? They're not the stars, but they're good enough that they have a real fan base. And I'm really excited about what, the internet and streaming has created there. The other thing is that like, the gatekeepers now are the kids. Like it used to be like the programmer at MTV that used to try and like get them on the phone and be like, "Yo, put my record in," or like it used to be the guy at the radio station, the program director. You'd have to know someone, and then you'd have to like, you'd have to go try and take them to dinner or like do whatever else that you do to like win, the graces of the gatekeepers, right? There's a lot of money involved, and there's a lot of politics, and there's a lot of things involved. Now it's like literally like it's like the kids on TikTok decide what's hot or not. The record labels don't even decide. Like kids,
influencers or
like influencers and kids and just whatever. Like they put like a video on TikTok of them like dancing to a video, and then it pops off, and then that's how the record label is like, all right, this shit's hot. The kids want it. So gotcha. So it's like it's really like the record label can't even make it happen anymore if the kids don't want it. And if the kids want it, the record labels have to do it.
Yeah.
So what the internet has created now is, it's created like a democracy that's like run by like, like 14 to 20-year-old kids. They really run the show when it comes to like pop music and hip hop and younger stuff.
Uh-huh.
They, they don't know it, but they're really deciding what happens.
That's
Because
crazy.
and so now what our job is to monitor that and to be like, all right, this is what the people want. How do we supercharge it? How do we help those artists succeed? But we're not like deciding what's cool. Like a 40-year-old dude, it's me. Like they don't want to hear what I think is cool. You know what I mean?
40. Oh my gosh.
Like I'm like we're listening. They think the shit we listen to that's like some old school shit. They don't want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know, right?
But seriously though, I think that's the big thing that's happened is I think that streaming has become like a real asset class, and a real like kind of revenue source, and like the power has gone back into the hands of the people, and so that's why you're seeing like a lot better music than I mean there was great music in our age, don't get me wrong, but now there's so much music and so much good music and a lot more creativity in music because in our generation, like in the 90s, there'd be some creative shit, but it was like underground, bro. You couldn't like you had to like dig to find it. Now, some of the really great stuff rose to the top, like some of the great 90s hip hop and things like that. But a lot of the stuff never really like broke the surface.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, if it's really dope now, it breaks the surface and it could even go on to become huge because it just spreads naturally on the internet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow, man.
yeah.
So
What's cool is that like kids these days, you remember like in our generation, you'd be into like one thing, right? Like you'd either be like you'd be like a rocker, you'd be into hip hop, or you'd be like into goth, or you'd be into like alternative. Like kids are into everything now. Like there's no rules. You could listen to all different kinds of music, taking all different type of inspiration, and
really?
yeah, and I think that's another cool thing that's happened with music and the internet is it's not as segregated, you know.
Everything's kind of commingling.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. You see like I think more creative music come out of that because different artists from different genres of music are working together. You know.
Yeah, that's great. That's great for music, right? Great for the art.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, right. Man, that is crazy, man. Fascinating, man. And so with your label, Carlo, how many artists do you currently have signed?
Yeah, so right now we have like 20 album projects that we're working. We're actively signing some more, and then there's some other stuff that's like kind of in the inactive phases. But there's 20 projects right now that we're kind of actively either releasing or like finalizing music and finalizing content and putting it out.
Wow, man! And you guys have like A&R people and stuff like that as well on staff.
Yeah. So we got everybody kind of does a little bit of A&R, but we have one guy like our old friend Mark who's been with us like from the beginning, who's like a real music guy, and he kind of like sifts through the internet and finds stuff. We also have kind of teams of like interns and just kind of like scouts that are kind of just on like get kind of on commission that go out and just find stuff, send it to us. Mark listens to it, kind of passes his test, then we'll reach out to the artist and kind of see what's up. So it's like we got like a little system in place to try and find good stuff, but we're always trying to like improve our system, and we're always trying to like kind of meet new kids out there that are like really dialed into what's popping and what's cool, and then sort of trying to bring them into our circle and help them in any way we can, have them help us kind of discover what's new and what's hot.
Absolutely, man. Very cool. And so you were talking about a couple minutes ago we were just talking about like genres and stuff and types of music. What kind of genre do you have? A predominant genre that you guys deal with mainly, or is it just a little bit of everything, or what types of music do you guys work with?
Yeah, so on the management side, we'll manage anybody that's like we think is really dope. On the label side, we're a little bit more curated towards like the style of music that we're good at and that like we like. But mostly it's like it's not even about as much of our personal taste. It's really about there's an area that like we know the players and we feel like we can do a really good job with. And what that is like it's kind of what I call like left of center pop, left of center hip hop, left of center like R&B, whatever. it's, and when I say left to center, I mean it's not like straightforward. It's not like kind of a pop act singing and dancing. I mean, it's kind of like it's a little bit more homegrown, and kind of artists with their own unique perspective. But ultimately, they're making pop music. They're
Okay.
making melodies. They're making pop music. Same thing with hip hop. I mean, it's like we're not typically going for super straightforward hip hop like the Migos or like straight up like Atlanta rap and like what's mainstream right now. We're
Hmm.
kind of going for like what I call like more alternative hip hop. What I mean? Like hip hop that's a little bit like left of center, and the same thing with R&B. And then we also do a little bit of like kind of beat music. What I mean? Like beat music, lo-fi stuff. Like a lot of times there's these artists that are like kind of really niche and underground, but have great streams online. And there's not a lot of labels or like distributors that really service them. So
Uh-huh.
we like what they're doing musically, and a lot of times it's instrumental stuff. Um, sometimes it could even be like it sounds funny, but like sleep music. What I mean? A lot of people do like beat, lo-fi, sleep music, and a lot of
Uh-huh.
times it works really well in the playlist, and they need someone to really optimize their business. So we dabble in that a little bit, but I'd say really our core is left to center pop and hip hop.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man. And so, who could you recommend to me, man? Turn me
Yeah.
on to one of your artists, man. I love hip hop. Always loved hip hop. I really like, hard beats, good
Yeah.
lyrics. A good lyricist, man. I love a
Yeah.
good lyricist. Who could you recommend to me as part of
Yeah.
your?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I think one album which I'm really proud of that we just put out is the Theophilus London album.
Which one? I'm sorry.
It's called Theophilus London.
Okay.
It's called Baby.
All right.
So there's it's a really diverse kind of musical album. With singing and rap, and I think really great lyricism, and just generally I think like an incredible diverse album. But I think that you would love that one.
Okay.
And there's this artist that I'm really excited about that we recently put out his album called Zach Villery.
Okay.
And I like that one a lot. I'm super excited about that. What other albums? This is less on the hip hop, but more on kind of like the down tempo pop stuff. But I really think the vibe is amazing. It's called Bear Cubs.
Okay.
And the album actually is coming out tonight.
Really?
Yeah, so it'll be out 9 p.m. so midnight East Coast. Officially it's tomorrow, but that the releases for tomorrow come out at 9 tonight.
Right.
So yeah, that's really dope. I'll send you that one too.
Where's that dropping, Carlo? Where could one cop that if they wanted?
Yeah, so pretty much everywhere on all streaming platforms. So it's on Spotify,
Okay.
Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube,
Sweet.
everywhere. Yeah, if you wanna, if you don't have any of the Apple Music or Spotify, you could always catch it on our YouTube channel, on the independently popular YouTube.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so but it is I think it's a really really dope album. I'm super proud of it. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else is that's coming out right around now. Yeah, those are a few that I'm really excited about though.
Absolutely, man.
Also, like on the kind of pop tip,
Uh-huh.
there's an artist called Modulator who we
Okay.
actually did a deal. We just closed a deal with like yesterday, and she put out a single that's dropping tomorrow as well. And I think that it's really interesting. She has a unique perspective, and I'm excited about kind of what's happening with her project.
Very cool. Mod Latour.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta check these guys out, man.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. One more is
No.
She's been with us for a long time, but we actually just got her out of her deal with a major label, and now she's on our label, named Yuna, who is a singer, songwriter, pop artist from Malaysia, who is kind of one of our marquee artists that we're really proud of. So she's definitely another one to check out on the label. It's kind of soulful, kind of left to center, like R&B. But it's really dope.
Very cool, man. Yeah, shout out to all those artists you just mentioned, man. I definitely want to check them out, man. I'm very
I'll send you a link to a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. You sparked my interest for sure. And shame on me that I haven't asked you before, man. I've known you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
several years now.
No, it's all good. We're all busy. I'm gonna send you some stuff to listen to. Just let me know what you like.
Oh man, I can't wait. Yeah, yeah, man. So, so you've been in the business for a good chunk of time now, right, Carla? About 15 years now, maybe all together.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've like quote unquote worked in music. Like that's kind of like my whole life. In the early days, I don't know, like if you I wasn't getting paid very well for it, so I don't know if you call it working, but I, was- I was trying to work. I mean, I was trying to.
Hey,
I've always wanted to do this. Um,
good for you, man.
when I first started, you know, it took a little while to figure out like, all right, how is this going to be a job? So obviously, so sometimes I'd be doing other things. I'd be bartending or I'd be doing like other kind of side hustles while I was trying to figure it out. But all in all, I mean, since I was 18, 19 is what I've been trying to do. And
Wow,
then this actual business, which is like, we've been doing for about 12 years.
wow, man. So you paid your dues. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I was like I was out in the field for a little while.
for sure, man. No, I hear you, man. Good, but good for you, man. You
Thanks.
stuck it out, man. Hung on to your dreams, your goals. You never let sight of you know, let them out of your sight, and here we are, man. You got 20 projects you got, and you're signing artists, and you're successful, and so kudos to you, brother. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man.
for sure, man, for sure. And so like I was saying though, I was gonna ask you, Carlo, is you've been in for, I mean, a good chunk of time, man. You know music, you know the business, uh, so it kind of relates to the question I asked you about, where what the internet has done to music, but like compared to when you got in, when you finally got in, you broke through, and you were a little bit more established. From that time to now, I mean, how much has the business changed, man? Just overall, man, or is it a drastic
Right.
difference, or is it something just kind of subtle, or did you have you probably had to imagine you had to kind of adapt and evolve along with those changes and those with music, with the industry changing, and or if it did at all, or
Yeah.
what's your
No,
take on that?
yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, it's interesting because, like I said, when I first got into it, it was all about touring. Everything else you did was to get money touring. Now, you still did a lot of the same shit. Like, it all boils down to the same stuff, right? You like kind of take care of artists' needs. You get their music made. You help them make content. You help them build a fan base. So all that, that never changes. But
Yeah.
but then the business side of it changes a lot, right? So it's funny to think of when we started to today. When we started, it was all about touring. That's where all kind of the money came from. You did the record deal to kind of promote your music, so you get money from touring. And today, touring doesn't exist anymore, and I don't think it's going to happen for like another year. Um, 'cause,
Well,
if you
well,
talk about actually today now, and nobody, and I'm not even sure, you know, we don't even know how the touring business is going to come back from this. You know,
wow. That's
That's going to happen. People are going to want to go to festivals,
yeah,
but nobody's exactly sure what's going to happen. And so billions of dollars got kind of swiped out from under people in this industry. So yeah, I mean, I'm thankful that we did make the pivot of like focusing on streaming and focusing on the label side of things, because
mm,
without that, we'd probably be out of business. Um,
wow,
you know,
wow,
and it is tough financially, even because touring is still like the main revenue source for the management business, but we have this other side with the label, which kind of keeps everything afloat.
uh,
But yeah, nobody knows. It might be like another year before big like full scale touring is back.
yeah,
um
yeah,
so yeah, it's funny just if you think about it like to today and you ask how much it's changed. It's like it was all touring before, and now not only did it switch to like streaming is equal, today there isn't even touring. So it's like, um, yeah, I guess the kind of the lesson is it is important to like, be diversified and to understand that things do change quickly.
yeah,
Some didn't matter, like you didn't make any money from downloads, but the people that still like focused on building their label and their brand now have really successful record labels, and touring, which was all the money, today doesn't exist. Now that doesn't mean that it's not going to come back. It's going to probably come back with a vengeance next year, and people are going to be like, have been pent up in their house for a long time.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, no, but it's changed a lot, man, and it's constantly changing. And I think, who knows what it's going to be like 10 years from now, man. Maybe it's like you're only going to listen to you're only going to go to virtual concerts, and
I hope
who knows how the kids are going to consume music. 10 years back. Definitely changed a lot in the last 10. I mean, 10 years ago we were like, I was trying to discover artists on MySpace.
Right. Oh, MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's but it's fair to. I think is it fair to say that touring is still, even though it's not one of the main, well, it's fair to say that it's still one of the. It can still be lucrative for an artist, right? Touring. Right?
Yeah, I think I still think it's where as an artist, it's still where you make your most money. Most artists. So now that most artists, there's some artists these days that don't do that well touring, but do well streaming.
Okay.
So everybody's different, but generally speaking, yeah, you're absolutely right. And tour is still where most of the money comes from.
I see.
But streaming is the real thing now, so it could be both.
Right. So it kind of varies. It just depends on the artist, right?
It depends on the artist. Your standard big artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. On the road. Well, they'll still make more money on the road these days.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And so what are some of the challenges, Carlo, for you in your role with your label and in the business? What are some of those challenges, man, that you've encountered?
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge is being able to evolve and be nimble and understand that the business changes quickly, and you can't be too stuck in your ways or one way of doing things because things change, and things change, and what an artist is looking for, what an artist expects, what the market is looking for, what they expect, how people operate, all those change quickly. TikTok was barely a thing. I don't even know if nobody knew what it was 18 months ago. Now that's the main way that kids are discovering music. It's that's the kind of number one way to virally pop off a record on the internet.
Wow.
It didn't even exist 18 months ago. So you have to be aware that you have to constantly evolve. And the people that are looking at that stuff early and taking chances on things right when it's coming, instead of being set in their ways, they're getting paid for that. They're reaping the benefits of adapting quickly. So that's a challenge. Another challenge is just when you're working in business. Is that me or you? Oh, my bad.
I think that's you, brother.
Yeah. So when you're working in business, and you're working with creatives, there's sometimes a push and pull there between the business interest and the creative interest. And I think that's that's our job. It's not even like it's a bad thing. It's how it should be, but it can be a challenge to figure out how to make those things reconcile, right? An artist wants to do what they want to do creatively, and your job is to make them money and build them a sustainable career. And so you have to kind of figure out how do you find that balance. And I think, at the end of the day, if you do a good job, the balance is natural, right? It's the artist that's most authentic and is making their best work is the one that's going to be sustainable and make the most money. But in the short term, it's a lot of times hard decisions to make. Right? Do you go out on the road and make all this money this summer, or do you stay home and make music? Right? If you stay home and make music, you're gonna feed the long term. But at the same time, you got all these people, you have money on being offered right now. You don't know this is gonna last forever. Are you gonna turn down the money now to build for the future when it might not be there in the future? But then if you're always out chasing money, you're not going to make the music, and it's going to be gone next year. So you have to always find that balance between the present and the future, and between creativity and business, and that could be challenging.
For sure.
Sometimes you butt heads with artists when you're trying to figure that out, because you might like be like, you're acting crazy. You need to like go get this money.
Yeah.
Or you might be like, yo, you're acting crazy. You're trying to chase money, and you need to focus on your career, because that surprisingly happens more than the other one. Is they want to go get the money. They're like fuck that. I don't need to be in the studio. I'm gonna like go get the money. And you have to say, hey, I've seen this happen a couple times before. If you spend the next year chasing money, people are gonna forget about you in 2-3 years. You're not gonna be there because you didn't have an output of music and content. You know.
Oh wow. So yeah, like you said, it's a fine line. There's a balance there, man. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, man.
Yeah.
It's so on the flip side to that, Carlo, what are some of the the pleasures, the benefits to your role, man? Some of the perks, things that you enjoy in your profession and your role.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy all of it. I mean, I feel blessed to be able to do this. You know, I mean, I work with people that I really respect and care about, and the people that I'd like to spend my time with, both my business partners and like the members of our team and all of our clients. So I generally love it all. I love the challenge. I love being able to work with creative people. I love being able to feel like sometimes we can help creative people create like sustainable businesses, because it can be hard. So I enjoy it all. Probably if there's anything that I enjoy less, it's the kind of administrative side of running a business, and of like kind of trying to keep the team on track, and trying to
steer the ship.
Trying to steer the ship, and I do it because I know how important it is. But if I could like eventually hire someone to do that, I'd probably be happy to do that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But really what I enjoy is kind of like coming up with new ideas and being able to implement them, and whether that's how to grow the business, or whether that's how to grow the artist's career, or whether that's kind of developing a creative partnership, or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I love it all. I just feel like I just feel lucky that that somehow I get to do it. You know what I mean? So I try and work hard and be appreciative of the fact that it's happening. You know?
Absolutely. No, you're living the dream, Carlo. I mean, I admire that, man. You're doing what you love to do. You, like I said earlier, didn't quit, never gave up. And again, man, here we are. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
No, of course, man. You're welcome, man. What are some of your all-time? Who are some of your all-time favorite musicians, artists?
Yeah, I'm a big Outkast fan, so probably I'd say that if I kind of think of like, the group that is that I love the most, and that reminds me the most of like kind of my childhood, I'd say it's Outkast and the Wu-Tang.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if there's any kind of two groups that are just like that's like that shit to me, there's obviously like a lot of others, but like I feel like that was kind of like the soundtrack to my youth. You know what I
mean? Yeah, those are definitely two all-time greats, heavy hitters, man. Do you think you could use your connections and we can get Method Man on here? And we can talk about that later.
I'm gonna try. You know what's funny is I actually got a that Theophilus record we got that we did. I got a Ghostface feature on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I tried. I'm trying to remember what happened.
Ghostface Killer.
Or is it Raekwon? No, wait. Or was it Raekwon?
Tony Starks.
No, it was Ghost. I tried to get RZA. I couldn't get RZA. I tried to get Raekwon. I couldn't get Raekwon. But then I got Ghost.
Oh wow, man. That's awesome, man.
The song's actually called Wu-Tang Flow because it's kind of like a hard song. It's kind of like inspired by the Wu, and but yeah, listen to it. So that was a pivotal career moment for me because I got to like at least do something that had to do with kind of like my favorite band. Yeah.
Did you meet Ghostface? Did you get to meet him?
I did. Everything these days, so much is just done through the internet, just like this,
remotely.
Talked to him. I sent his manager the record. He sent it back. I said, "All right, cool." I sent him some money. That was it. But
that's cool, man.
Yeah, but hopefully someday, man. Hopefully
Yeah.
someday. Those are there's most artists I'm not too starstruck about, but the ones from my childhood, like Andre 3000, the RZA, those type of guys. Those are the guys that I'm still like a kid when I'd be excited to meet them. Yeah.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a man after my own heart, bro. I mean, we're roughly the same age, so
Yeah.
yeah, I love the '90s, man. All about, well, hence I have my other podcast, '90s Galore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but we've profiled Outkast. We have an episode with Outkast, and
That's dope. I gotta listen to the Outcast episode. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah, man, I appreciate it. That was my early days, bro. That was like last year. Believe it or not, I've been doing this for almost a year and a half now, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I did that Outcast episode. I think when I was doing uh, doing the podcast from my phone, and did profile the Outcast. Anyways, but yeah, those are, man, all time favorites.
Yeah.
Of course, But that's cool, man. Are you into R&B at all? Anything like that?
Yeah, no, I'm into R&B. Yeah, no, I love R&B. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the old school shit, obviously, like
Mary
obviously,
J. Blige.
yeah, Mary J. Blige, D'Angelo, like all that type of, all of it, man. You know what I mean? I listen to all that shit, and
Jodeci.
yeah, all that stuff. You know what? There's actually a group that we just signed that it's not straight up R&B, but there's some kind of soulful R&B vibes. It's called Oshun, Oshun, and they're these two girls from New York who are kind of on like they're like on like a kind of new school Lauryn Hill type of vibe.
Oh, okay.
You got to check them out. They're very creative and very interesting. And
Oh, yeah.
we're about to start releasing their music. I'll send you them. It kind of
awesome.
reminds me of like shit from our era, but they're like kind of a new school take on it. They're young, but
Okay.
but yeah, it's really cool.
Shout out to Oshun. Yeah, man. I can't wait to check these guys out, man. I'm gonna check them all out.
Yeah, please, man.
Do you play any instruments, Carlo?
I don't, man. I don't. I wish I did. I always wished I did. I used to play sax when I was young, and I played a little piano, or whatever, but I never stuck with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm trying to pick up piano now, and
Oh, okay.
I love music, but I never got good at playing it.
Yeah, man. I regret it. I played trombone in 5th and 6th grade, and regret it, man. I was always into sports, but still, if I could go back in time, I'd stick it out, and play and keep playing the trombone, man.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make Nico learn. And like, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't have to play. But I kind of wish, like, someone would have told me, just learn this, because then you'll have that when you're grown up. Because I was, I wish I had that now.
Hey, and by the way, Nico should be modeling, man. That kid is a.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's got a good chin, Nice chin, man.
Yeah, man. And he does a lot of the Sweeter Than Pan Dulce photos, right? A lot of the
yeah, exactly.
ads. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, hey, Carlo, man, what's the future for Independently Popular? And I mean, where do you see things going in the next 5 years, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the last 10 years we were kind of just learning, and I feel like we kind of now we're set up to grow. I think before, it sounds funny because 10 years seems like a long time, but we weren't even like focused on growing. We were kind of learning as we went. So we would just kind of work with artists that were around us, and we'd get a new opportunity, but we never really put it out there to the world. You know what I mean? We were never selling. We were never trying to go and sell it. And I feel like now we got to the point where we're confident enough in what we do that we can go and sell it. So that's like what's exciting, is I think over the last year, we've kind of realized that. And I think over the next 5 years, we're trying to make it a lot bigger, and a lot better, and a lot more kind of organized of a business. And I think it's really just because, we learned, what works, what doesn't.
For sure.
We're kind of confident in our ability to do that now. And, it's kind of almost like we went to school by doing this for a long time.
Gotcha.
And I feel like it made us mature enough that now we know what we want. Before, we were just kind of out there hustling, and a lot of it worked. And I think we did good work for people because, like, because we work hard and we hustled, but I think we didn't know exactly what we wanted.
Oh,
And I think now that we know what we want, I think the next 5-10 years we could really focus on that and create a brand that's more about our brand, and create a business that's kind of much bigger and focus on growth. Focus on growing while still like continuing to serve the clients like as if we weren't growing. You know what I mean?
gotcha.
Servicing the clients like there's only one of them, but being able to to really grow and doing that by like having a great system and a great team and all that type of stuff. But yeah, man, I think that what I really want to do is over the next 5 years is become the destination for like this certain category of artists, which like I said is like, you know, the artist middle class, the artist that's like making money, that has a sustainable career, that's making
Right.
dope music, that may or may not want to become a superstar, but is in this place where I feel like they're being slightly underserviced by the industry. And I
Mhm.
think we can really help them grow into being entrepreneurs and use what we've learned by being business owners ourselves and help teach these young creative people to be business owners. And that's kind of what I'm passionate about and like what I think our focus is over the next 5 years.
I can't wait to see what happens, brother. You
Yeah,
know,
thank you, bro.
of course, man. Man, this has been a really, really educational experience for myself, Carlo, because uh, I've always, like I said, man, I've always had an appreciation for the record business and never knew exactly, how it worked. I don't know anything about the record business, and you've provided a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge, into behind the scenes. And yeah, man, I appreciate that. I wish you nothing but the best, man, in your endeavor, in your company, man. And I know if I'm a betting man, my money's on you, brother.
Thank you so much, brother. Well, yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was really great to talk with you. I'll do it. I'm down to do it anytime, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. We got to do it again. You're always welcome. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Happy birthday once again. My best to the family. And yeah, man, have a great rest of the day, brother.
Okay, likewise, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard a Carlo Fox, co-founder of Independently Popular Records, as well as his management company, Indie Pop. Check him out. Carlo, by the way, man, where can the good people find you, man? Where could they go ahead and plug social media, websites, whatever?
Yeah. So on Instagram, we're Independently Popular, or you could go to indie-pop.com.
There it is. There it is, man. And you heard the man. You heard him. Go check him out. I'm gonna go check out those artists, man. He really piqued my interest. As for myself, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this recording of the Profile Pod TV. It's been an awesome episode. I've learned so much. A lot of fun, man. This is really enjoyable. I really love what I do. Hopefully, I can get to Carlo's level in the future, and make a living doing this. So this is my goal and my aspirations. But in the meantime, again, thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Profile Pod TV on YouTube. You can check that out. Go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to the 90s Galore podcast on Apple Podcasts. Drop us a review. Give us 5 stars. All that good stuff. And follow us on Instagram at Profile Pod TV. And do not forget, especially if you want to come on the show, let us profile you. Come on and co-host, just like you saw Carlo right now. Come on and talk about your business, your endeavor, whatever you got going on, and let's get you some promotion. Let's get some more eyeballs on your product, on your service, on your whatever you got going on. So, looking forward to hearing from you guys. Hit me up on Instagram. Drop me a line there. Direct message me. So, as for myself, thank you so much. Hope to see you guys next week on another episode of Profile Pod TV for Carlo Fox. Once again, thank you, brother. I am Andy Anatomical, and always remember to take it easy.